Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's about time I finally covered something on Neutral Milk Hotel's official discography, Recently, or not so recently, my first video on Jeff Mangum and his eccentric noise rock act gained over 1,000 views, something I'd never pondered or even thought I'd attain, especially so quickly. I'd like to thank everyone who took the time to watch that video, as it's one of the videos I'm most proud of. As a token of my thanks to you all, today I will be reviewing the band's first official studio album on Avery Island, as I'll be saving In the Aeroplane Over the Sea for another extravagant occasion that we are coming upon quite soon. I'd also like to thank everyone for helping me reach 50 subscribers, which this video is meant to commemorate as well. It's something so small in the big picture, but it's incredibly important to me, and for that, I say thank you. Without any further ado, let's begin. Before we dissect the album, I think this is something worth saying. On Avery Island is the black sheep of Neutral Milk Hotel's legacy. It is the less respected little brother of In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, in the sense that it shares most of its fuzzy folk eccentricity, cryptic lyrics with seemingly nonsense meanings on the surface, and Jeff Mangum's raw vocals. I never understood why many people who adore Aeroplane as a crowning achievement in indie culture haven't given Avery Island the time of day. Sure, if you're a fan of Neutral Milk Hotel as a band, chances are you've heard of and listened to this record. But for the people who know Mangum and his crew for the 1998 pseudo-concept record that made them an underground phenomenon, and solely for that achievement, it often goes overlooked. In my opinion, On Avery Island is just as good as Aeroplane, if not better in some fields. Becoming the end of a formal bridge from 1993's embryonic yet developmental Hype City soundtrack and Mangum's first 7-inch single, Everything Is, the album fuses his early 90s efforts as a noise collage maker, a fuzz-laden guitar player, and a personal songwriter into some of the band's most impressive and greatest pieces of music in their short lifespan. Take, for example, track 2, You've Passed, a song that Jeff wrote in 1994 after the death of his grandmother. The song is one of Jeff's most personal, and On Avery Island feels like a type of outlet for his inner mind. Naomi, track 10, is, in my opinion, the best example of this. Written about Galaxy 500 bassist Naomi Yang, who Jeff was supposedly obsessed with for a good portion of the 90s, he sorrowfully laments his infatuation with the musician, implying that she has no idea just how beautiful she really is or how much he loves her. Depending on your perspective with these kinds of things, the song can be viewed as something malicious or romantic. Regardless of its meaning or sentiment, the overall composition of the track cements Naomi as one of the best Neutral Milk Hotel songs in my opinion. Someone Is Waiting from 1992's Beauty tape appears in a complete form here, with some tacked on noise at the end. I'm gonna be honest, as someone who could never appreciate the collages present on tapes like Invent Yourself a Shortcake, which I stand by as being one of the worst things I've ever sat through, fully honest, the album's closing track, Pre-Sisters Swallowing a Donkey's Eye, what a mouthful, is something I find really interesting. A 13-minute piece combining Mangum and company playing a collection of Indonesian instruments. The band has described it as being what they envision death to sound like. With me being the relentlessly over-the-top theorist I am when it comes to deciphering lyrics and album themes, I view pieces of On Avery Island as being a non-linear concept album, which might sound crazy, but hear me out for a second. A lot of this album centers around beauty in the weirdest places. A Baby for Pre, track 4, describes in your typical Neutral Milk Hotel fashion the miracle of childbirth, written after one of Jeff's friends became pregnant, and of course we have Naomi, but we also have track 9, Three Peaches. Recently, after revisiting the album in its entirety to do this review, I started to connect Three Peaches and Naomi, the former of which describes a suicide attempt by Jeff's friend and how happy he is that she's still alive. I see this tying into Naomi because of the refrain of Naomi, which goes as such. In my head, I end up picturing the next track as the aftermath of this girl, Naomi, or whatever her name may be in the album's context, barring any real-life connections, leaving him. This next track is a re-recording of the song April 8th, which some of you may recognize from Unknown Demo number 2. This recording is less melancholy than the demo version, which is already a very downtoned song, but I always interpret the album version as being the protagonist, if you will, of the album, looking for solace after this failed relationship, from the people he trusts, coming to their homes and knocking on their doors, only for them not to answer. Defeated, he goes home, alone, sad and afraid, and commits suicide. Now, why do I attach such a dark meaning to a song that's already been assumed to be about underground artist and famous recluse Henry Darger? Here's why. April 8th crossfades into Pre-Sisters, with Mangum's final guitar strum and vocal hum sending us into the collage that I previously mentioned is considered to be the sounds of death by the band members. Okay, I know it sounds crazy, but I can't help but feel like it could have stood as a test for the extremely conceptually cozy In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, which, as an album itself, is a testament to Jeff's talent of winding songs and stories together. And although the roots of this album are firmly planted in the early, unfocused days of NMH, standing as a testament of a group of young people from ghostly southern towns, On Avery Island is one of the finest points in Jeff Mangum's extended musical output, showing the slightest shavings of his emotional passion that he pours into his music. While it isn't as well formed, well written, or as well beloved as In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, the lovability and identity that can be found in that album shows itself here, in a more obscured and intensive manner. As of this current time, On Avery Island has the honor of being one of my essential albums, ranked currently at number 5 on my top 42 albums of all time. With that, I give Neutral Milk Hotel's On Avery Island a 10 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching this video. It's greatly appreciated, as always. Guys and gals, thank you all so much for helping me reach 50 subscribers. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it might be a very minuscule number, but for someone who makes videos as a hobby, just for fun, reaching that amount seemed almost impossible when I first started. The fact that I was able to reach that in just under a year, with my sporadic uploads, which I will hopefully get better at as graduation approaches, is mind-boggling. I know I'm throwing around a lot of the same words, but I cannot express my sentiment enough in any way. Once again, thank you. We have one final special video coming up that has been a long time coming, and it'll be covering one of my favorite albums, one that, at this point, might be a bit predictable. But I won't share any secrets, you'll just have to wait. But after that comes out, we'll be going back to my regular videos, some reviews of some albums that you might have heard of, some you might not have heard of, and some that maybe a few of you have in common with me. With all that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Be on the lookout for more videos from me in the future. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Keep being awesome, and I will catch you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.